Fox News is attacking President Joe Biden over the shortage of toys, which means it's time for the war on Christmas.
Over the years, we've taken on the role of protecting the federal holiday of Christmas.
They don't use the word Christmas because it's not politically correct.
There are some Americans who are offended by any reference to Jesus Christ.
Do you realize that Starbucks wanted to take Christ and Christmas off of their brand new cups? That's why they're just plain red.
They'll say Happy New Year, and they'll say other things.
In fact, do you realize that Starbucks isn't allowed to say Merry Christmas to customers?
There's a full-out war on faith in this country by the other side.
We're saying Merry Christmas again.
We're saying Merry Christmas again. That's right, even though it's actually Halloween. I mean, Halloween is like 2 weeks away. Thanksgiving, 6 weeks away. And Christmas, even further away. Nonetheless, here we go. Fox News pushing the annual war on Christmas. So now they're going to go in and basically what they're going to do is that they're going to blame the supply chain issues, which has been caused by, I don't know, the worldwide pandemic that we've been experiencing. You know, that whole thing that's killed over 700,000 Americans and 4 million people across the world. No, they're going to blame that, the supply chain shortages caused from that, on Joe Biden. So now the recount, it's a Twitter account. They do fantastic videos showing ridiculousness. They actually did a little bit of a mashup of Fox News coverage. Take a look.
The supply chain crunch that threatens to spoil the holiday season. There will be things that people can't get.
Toys not getting shipped.
Toys like Tonka trucks.
Tonka trucks.
Tonka trucks.
Yeah.
My Little Pony, Care Bears.
It's the type of things that make or break a Christmas.
Lincoln Logs.
Care Bears.
Tonka trucks. My Little Pony.
We've showed you the kind of trek from the Care Bear in a factory in China to the store in Massachusetts.
Well, this is the Togetherness Care Bear, and everybody needs to be together, and everybody needs a hug. They're going to be harder to find.
If people can't get bacon, and people can't get a Tonka toy.
Oh no! Oh no! We can't get a Tonka toy.
Oh no!
Oh, Christmas is ruined. Everything is ruined. I'm actually more concerned about the bacon. What bacon shortage? What? Well, oh no! I am actually concerned about that one. No. Okay. Whatever shall I do? I know. I'm gonna blame Joe Biden. God damn it, Biden. You know what's funny? This entire thing, for one, it's nonsense. And for two, this is actually like blaming the president for gas prices. So there's one thing that I don't like to do, is I don't like to go after a president for gas prices. Why? Because it's ridiculous. The president does not set gas prices. And I see this everywhere because it's so common for people, especially on the conservative side, to like blame high gas prices on a president. He doesn't set the prices. Obviously, since it is such a normal, you know, hot button kind of kitchen table, you know, like concern, right? Because everybody has to buy gas. Obviously, you can go to work, you gotta buy gas. You go to school, you go to store, whatever, you gotta buy gas, right? And so that does have a gigantic impact on your family, home heating costs as well. So that does have a gigantic impact. And so the thing is, though, they like to blame the people who are in charge. And they just happen to blame the president. Now, the president, again, and I'm going to go back to George W. Bush here, where he was like, you know, I don't do anything about that. If I had a magic wand, I would say low gas prices. Okay. Yes, but you don't have the magic wand. You don't. And so, look, I understand that policy also has an effect. Okay. So yes, president signs policy. Congress, of course, goes through and passes policy. And the president's supposed to use the bully pulpit to push it, et cetera, et cetera. And so, you know, there are various factors at play in dealing with gas prices, but generally, what it comes down to is the market forces. Since we have a global energy market, Okay, so oil is traded globally, and then if you've got gas stations, you got corporations, oil companies, fossil fuel companies, etc. Now, let me just get a little conspiratorial for a second. I know I debunk a lot of conspiracies on my show, but I have a couple of my own. Okay, here's one of them, right? So we know fossil fuel companies love Republicans. Well, they also love corporate Democrats, Henry Cuellar, Joe Manchin, etc. Right? And so now they love these politicians because they shower them with campaign money, campaign cash. And in return, because there's always something in return. I know Washington gets real mad at that. Like, oh, how dare you? How dare you impugn our beloved Congress people and say that they're able to get a bribe, that these companies actually expect something back for all these millions of dollars in donations? How dare you? No, dude, just give me these politicians because they care about the country. No, that's absolute utter garbage, bullshit. The dumbest thing I've ever heard. You know, lie to me like that to my face. I mean, you know what I'm saying? It's like, dude, I'm not that. Who's stupid enough to believe that? Nobody believes that. But in Washington, they've all deluded themselves into saying, oh, no, of course, all of our politicians, we are all pure. We are as pure as, as the white snow. Literally white in that case. Perfect. How dare you think that we could be ever influenced by any sort of money that corporations give us? And just the insinuation is enough to get you kicked out of any room in Washington. So, or in the Beltway. And in a lot of cases, probably a lot of newsrooms as well. And so, where I was going with that is that you have these companies that pay off politicians, right? And they like Republicans because Republicans give them tax cuts and deregulate their industry so that they end up actually pocketing more money. Where the so-called conspiracy comes into play, right? Conspiratorialism is, so now, you ever notice low gas prices during Republican administrations, right? During the Trump administration, for example. Higher gas prices during Democratic administrations. I'm wondering if fossil fuel companies, not only since they give to Republicans, also might conspire to raise their prices a little bit so that people will blame Democrats for raising your gas price and vote for Republicans. Again, that's my conspiratorial mind at work. And so when you think about it, it's like, well, it kind of makes sense because, again, when Republicans win, they get tax cuts, they get deregulation. So that's just me. And so now, getting back to it, the shipping companies, right? So now the shipping companies are massively affected or have been massively affected by the pandemic. Now, the pandemic is still not over, especially in the rest of the world, nowhere near. And so as a result, these companies have had a lot of issues. You've had factories all over the world that have had a lot of issues that are not producing as much. There's demand that's really, really high. For example, we got shortages of microchips, right? That's a big one. This is why I don't have a PlayStation 5. I want a PlayStation 5. I want a video card, right? An RTX 3070. I cannot get those things. Unless I want to pay like super, super high prices from like a scalper. But no, I would rather set myself on fire in Roblox than pay a scalper. Fuck scalpers. All right? I don't want it that much. I'm not going to overpay for something. But anyway, so, and not only that, this is why vehicles have shot up in price too and are sitting on the lots because they don't have these microchips in them. And so there's a shortage for all these devices. Okay? And again, it's the pandemic. It's the result of the pandemic. Now, in the United States, we're drowning in vaccines. We literally have, a ton of vaccines. And the richer nations also have tons and tons of vaccines. Who doesn't have the vaccine? Poor countries. Poor countries. And look, these big corporations, these pharmaceutical companies, they hold all the patents. Now, Biden came out and said, well, we're going to release the patents so that the rest of the world, Big Pharma, not a fan of that. And they said, no, we don't want somebody else to make these vaccines. We still want to make money for them. And so, like any corporation, of course, they have to, they're very, very protective of their patents, and so, you know, all of that. And so as a result, the vaccine getting out to the rest of the world has actually been incredibly slow. And so that has caused a lot of issues with supply chains as well. And I don't know, in the last story that I saw about the Biden administration waiving patents was back in May. I haven't seen any sort of update. As far as I know, it's still being protected by patents. So that's not to say, of course, that Joe Biden is the reason you can't get a Tonka truck. No, this entire thing is quite complicated. And it is important to note as well that Biden has been working on trying to do something. For example, on Wednesday, Biden announced steps to increase capacity at key ports, and it listed several other big companies, Walmart, Target, and others, to try to do something to increase, basically to restock their shelves, to make sure that they have enough for the Christmas rush. Why? Because full consumerism must not be abated. So, again, consumerism, by the way, it's literally the only thing that's keeping our economy or country afloat. Buying tons of junk. that's just kind of what we have to do. I'm sorry, not half, but we're expected to do as Americans, buy tons of crap. And that's what Christmas has turned into, essentially. It's been commercialized. And that's all the Republicans at this point care about. Now, again, the supply chain issues are very complicated, but Fox News understand they don't do complicated. They don't understand complicated. They don't really care about complicated. In fact, here's Sean Hannity and Laura Ingraham. I've just got some, images of what their shows look like. You can probably guess what it's about here. So, oh, look, the Grinch Who Stole Christmas. It's Hannity. Lovely, lovely. The Biden Who Stole Christmas. Oh, look at that. Oh, look at that nice little Photoshop of Biden in the green. Yeah, lovely, lovely. And then you have the Republican Party, GOP, putting this out. This is the guys who is trying to steal Christmas. Americans are not going to let that happen. It's the guys. Not only that, but you also are now having members of Congress. This is Tom Cotton, who went on Fox News to talk about this. Take a look.
The White House is saying that you're probably not going to be able to get everything you want for Christmas. Well, I mean, who's going to save Christmas for Americans? Pete Buttigieg? I mean, please. Pete Buttigieg couldn't organize a one-car funeral. He's not going to organize our nation's ports and railroads and highways and airports.
Okay. I don't know. I kind of like to dig at Pete Buttigieg for a second there. Kind of funny, Tom. Nonetheless, also kind of stupid. Because that's who he is, Tom Cotton. But understand, like, Fox News, at this point, the people on Fox News are nothing but a caricature. I'm convinced. They're not real people, obviously. And nobody freaks out about the war on Christmas as much as Fox News does. And, of course, there's a reason, right? But, like, sometimes I just want to take these people, shake them, and be like, what are you doing? What are you doing? Why are you saying these insane things? What are you doing? How is what you're doing going to help with anything in this country? What is wrong with you? I feel like Jon Stewart going on Crossfire with Tucker Carlson. Yeah, I just want to be like, you're hurting America. Please stop. Just stop. Just stop. You're not doing anything. You're not doing anything positive. What is wrong with you? I mean, complete and utter joke. Except, unfortunately, there are people that actually believe in this stuff. The Fox News audience eats it up with a spoon. They're like, oh, yeah, Joe Biden. If I can't get a... what was it? Like, this... I'm dating myself here. Like, oh, I can't get a Furby. Like, who wants a Furby to begin with? Those things were kind of creepy when you think about it. But, like, who wants a Furby? But Fox News is like, oh, I can't get one of those. No, I can't get that. By the way, who plays with Tonka trucks and Lincoln Logs anyway? Does any young person even know what those are anymore? Seriously, it doesn't make any sense to me. And it's insane. But the people watching this Well, that's what they identify with, because Fox News' audience is way, way older. And so they're like, oh my God, I can't believe the left is trying to cancel Christmas. And they do it, of course, because, well, the network knows what it's doing. For one, the advertisers want you to buy crap. That's it. The advertisers. And Fox News loves their advertisers, the ones that are still there. And, you know, again, they want you to blame Democrats, both the advertisers on Fox News and the Fox News hosts, because guess what? If you vote out Democrats, nobody's going to raise your taxes if you're a rich person. And that's what it is. It's about taxes, it's about deregulation, and of course, they do the culture war stuff in order to trick you, in order to distract you from economic issues, so that you would constantly vote for Republicans because you're mad about culture war bullshit. If you enjoyed this video, please give us a like and share with your friends. You can subscribe and help out the channel by becoming a patron. It's patreon.com/Jeff Waldorf, or you can become a channel member as well by hitting the join button below.